Hey guys, Jimmy here with One Road. For many years now, I've been wanting to do something to this truck, or to any of my cars really. Something that looked so fun in movies and every time you see a trucker go by, and you probably guessed it the moment I said trucker. I've been wanting to install a CB radio. So in this video, I'm gonna not only unbox this CB radio, which is a Cobra 19 Ultra 3, as well as this Scosche antenna, but I'm also going to install it in my truck. So I do admit, this CB radio and this antenna are directly from Walmart, but for good reason. And that is because I'm about to embark on a 1,100-mile road trip towing a trailer, and I'm doing that in a couple days. Now the problem is that I couldn't find a single place in Spokane or Spokane Valley or anywhere near that carried CB radios or anything of the sort, antennas, anything like that, other than Walmart. So to Walmart I went. And the thing is this CB radio is only about $38. So I figured it'd be worth a shot. What I'm gonna do is actually wire it to this 12-volt cigarette lighter accessory plug, and that way I can test it out before I make it a permanent installation in my truck. Now I have to say I've never owned a CB radio, and like I was saying, in the movies and even just driving on long road trips, you see the truck drivers and they all have their CB radios. It just looks so fun to be able to communicate with not only those truckers or whatever, but also just to hear what might be going on the road. What if there's a big old traffic jam, or there's a cop or a speed trap somewhere like that. So it'd be kind of fun and interesting just to hear what goes on and just to be able to have a CB radio. I'm sure every guy out there has always wanted one. In any case, let's get this thing open and see what's in the box. All right, so we have the paperwork. We have the bracketry. We have the actual CB radio. And we have the handheld microphone. Speaker's actually on the bottom of the unit, so this is just going to be your microphone. Okay, so the CB radio itself, very, very small, actually surprisingly small. But I did watch some reviews, and there's really not a whole lot of videos, really good videos anyway, that show these things and how to use them and what they do and what they sound like and all that good stuff. So I'm hoping that that's the kind of video this is going to be. So here's the bottom of it. There's a speaker down here. These are the mounting holes on the sides. And on the front, you can see there's just a couple of knobs, and that's exactly what I wanted. I wanted a very simple unit for my first unit. Obviously to change the channel here with this big knob, the squelch, volume, normal, and then channel 9 and 19, which I'm still learning the ins and outs of these things, but 9 I believe is emergency, and 19 I believe is kind of like the common channel that everyone uses. Correct me if I'm wrong, please comment down below. Obviously there's a lot of people out there that know more than I do about these sorts of things. Okay, so to open this up, first of all, this is the plug that just screws in to the front here of the CB radio, just screws right in there. Nice tight coil on this cord. Okay, so this is the microphone. I have to admit, and I don't know if they're all like this, but this seems really, really light and plasticky. It doesn't seem like a really high quality mic. Not sure if they're all like this or what the case may be. I mean, this is a very low cost unit, so maybe it's just because of that. But it does have a hanger button on the back there, and there is hardware here so that you can put a mount for this and just hang it, you know, up in your rig. So here's what we're looking at in terms of powering the unit. We have this long power cord. It has a fuse in it, and there's just basically power and ground. So it's going to be very easy for me to wire that directly to this. I could just plug this straight into the cigarette lighter and have it powering the unit. This is also going to allow me to move it from one car to another. Let's go ahead and get these wires apart. Let's see here. So we have that stripped, pretty easy. So I'm just going to go ahead and solder it together. Everything is soldered, and I have my heat shrink here, and I'm just going to go ahead and shrink this stuff down. There she goes. Pretty good. Kind of how this thing works is you have your magnetic base here. There's a cover over the threads. This bottom part just screws on to there. This is a spring that I'm screwing on along with the mast. Okay, then there's this, which they call a booster coil housing. This just screws right onto here. I'm just going to be dropping this final piece of the antenna into the slot, and I'm just going to tighten the Allen set screw. Okay, so hopefully you can get a sense for how tall that antenna is. I'm going to be putting it on top of my Suburbans here, so I have one Suburban here and another one here, and the roof lines on these are obviously as high as you get for, you know, your average vehicle, so that's pretty good. This is the moment of truth. So I have this thing all wired up. The antenna you can see is coming out the back. The microphone is right there in the front. This is kind of where I plan on having it, which I know is not an ideal situation because the speaker's on the bottom, so it might be muffled. We'll have to see if that's even gonna work. Here in my truck, I have a couple of accessory ports. So I'll have my phone plugged in this first one or something, and then I can plug the CB into this one. So let's see if this thing works. Okay, well, the light just came on here. Now, what we have to do is turn this baby on. And I believe you do that just with this volume knob. Okay, well, I know I probably don't have the best reception here because I'm in my garage, number one, and number two, I'm nowhere near a freeway. So I might have to go on a drive. So squelch is supposed to kind of tune out that buzzing, the you know, static noise. You can see when I hit that threshold, it just shuts off. So you kind of just have to find that sweet spot. It gets pretty loud, way too loud. This is obviously a very terrible signal, but hey, this thing is working, so that's the first step. Next step is going to be to get out and get near a freeway. 9, 19. This button here just goes, like, let's put it on 16. 9, 19. Oh, and it goes to your last station too. So you got 9, 19, and then back to where you were before that. All right, so I've watched plenty of videos on YouTube where everybody that had this model, they would turn it on, it would be all staticky, and they'd say, all right, thanks for watching the video. That's not what I'm gonna do. I'm actually gonna drive out and I'm gonna try to get a good signal, and I'm gonna do a radio check and see if I can get someone to respond. So hopefully we can do that here. All right, guys, so I was just on the freeway, the 90 out here in Spokane. Sorry about my camera, it's dark, so it has trouble focusing on my face. But I did get a really crisp, clear, loud radio check out of this thing, and that's the first time that I've ever, you know, spoken on a CB and had a, you know, a back and forth, so that was pretty exciting. But I'm gonna try it again for you guys. I'm just off the freeway, but I don't know if it's gonna work because I'm not on the freeway, and so I'm kind of blocked by these buildings. I don't know how these things reach. I don't know how good this antenna is that I have. I know that there's an antenna by Wilson called the Little Will that's supposed to be like the bee's knees. But we're gonna try to get a radio check on camera so you can hear what this thing sounds like. I did put it up here on the dash. It seems to be a lot more just easier for me to see and to kind of, you know, mess with the volume and the squelch and also the channels than down below. So this works really well, and I might want to do some sort of Velcro to my dash pad, which I think would be a really good idea. Radio check on that I-90. Can I get a radio check, please? Can I get a good old radio check? Can I get an old-fashioned radio check? Can I get an old-fashioned radio check with whipped cream on top, please? Radio check, radio check.